Okay, so here is roughly what a penny would look like from the side of the penny. First, we need to talk about what the forces are that we already know about. Right now, the big one is gravity. So we know that gravity is pulling down on this penny. So if we dropped water on the penny, why wouldn't it just spill over the sides like this? Well, if we try it, we'll see that the water clumps up instead of spilling over the sides. So instead of spilling over the sides, it clumps up in a bubble, kind of like this. Well, why does that happen? Some of you may have heard of surface tension before, but let's get a closer look at what surface tension actually is. In order to do that, we need to look at the very edge of this water droplet really closely. So we're going to take a look at the edge of this water droplet, and we're going to actually look at what the molecules inside of this water droplet look like. So when we look at the molecules and how they're acting on each other inside of this very edge here, we do see that they're pulling on the molecules that are below them. So we have a bunch of water molecules down here, and all of these water molecules are pulling on each other. And the ones at the very edge are pulling on each other too. But the really important thing to look at here are these red arrows. These red ones mean that these water droplets on the very edge are pulling on each other all in kind of a line there. So all of this water wants to be next to each other because of something that we call hydrogen bonding. If we remember, water is made up of two different elements, hydrogen and oxygen. And this is actually why you sometimes hear to water referred to as H2O. There are two hydrogen molecules for one oxygen molecule in water. Now in this, we're just going to act like this whole molecule right here is each one of these dots. Now, we can take a look at all of the molecules that are inside of this entire piece of water here, and we see that all of these molecules are pulling on each other. And I didn't put all of the molecules in the very edge surface of the water, but if you can imagine, all of these in the very edge are all going to be pulling on each other, kind of making this boundary on the outside of the water. And that is what surface tension is. Now, one thing that we will see is if we put enough water onto this penny, then we're increasing the amount of mass, and so gravity is going to have a bigger effect. And instead of having the water bubble up like this, it will actually end up spilling over the edge. And that's because there is enough gravity, so the gravity isn't changing, but the amount of mass, the amount of stuff is changing. So if we put enough water on here, and we're going to end up with kind of a big bubble before this happens, we'll put enough water on there that gravity is pulling on all of those molecules so much that those hydrogen bonds aren't strong enough anymore, and the water will eventually spill over the sides.